rub your hands or warm up your hands, and it's nonsense. Because your mind is still. You still your mind. And what are you doing? Moving your mind again immediately. You're negating all the sits. These people don't understand anything. They teach you junk. And that's why you can't make progress. Dạy tâm bậy thành cái việc tiến bộ không được. Đừng ngồi yên cái tâm bộ như xuôi dài làm cái tâm nó động lại. Thì bao nhiêu cái yên tĩnh nó biến mất hết tất cả. Tâm bậy. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Do we have full translation into Chinese, Vietnamese, and Koreans and so forth? What happened to, is Sarah translating? Okay. This particular Chan practice of ours is called Stillness Contemplation. Okay? Meaning that whatever the Chinese explain it to you, I explain to you my version. Stillness contemplation, meaning that you need to still your body and your mind. Contemplation is what you do with your mind. You learn how to work with your mind in order to open your wisdom. That's why it's called stillness contemplation. It's for a purpose. You need to first still your mind before you can successfully contemplate or do contemplation. Stillness of the mind will build your mental strength, your mental endurance. Contemplation will help open your wisdom. So you need to build the strength first, you need to build the concentration first, then you can contemplate. That's why it's called stillness contemplation. And therefore, when you look at this is the highest form of meditation training possible in the human realm. And therefore, if you compare our style of meditation against the others, now look, for example, have you seen these video clips of people going to the wall in Israel, in Jerusalem? They stand from the wall and they go like this, the Jews. They say their prayers and they go like this. Okay, they have the long beards and long weird things on their ears, and they wear this black hat and they wear a hat and they go like this. Anyone? Yes, right? You go to Jerusalem and you go in that wall there, that sacred wall they have there, to go, they do their religious pilgrimages, the sacred wall. You find a lot of people going like this, whether it's Arabs or Israelis and so forth, they go like this. Okay, when they do that, okay, a good number of them will enter samadhi. Yes, it's possible. As you move like this, you enter samadhi. It's similar like the Sufis, where they twirl around. Have you seen the videos of the Sufis dancing? They twirl around like this, ooh, and they wear this long skirt. So when they turn around, it's very pretty. Huh? Anyone seen that? Okay, weird Chinese person here. Okay, so you see, they enter samadhi too. Or what about so what's the difference? Why aren't they still? And they still enter samadhi. When you enter samadhi in motion, the samadhi of yours is shallow. And therefore, if your samadhi is shallow, okay, your wisdom, your understanding is also shallow. So that's what we don't want you to go through all the trouble, traveling to the wall and go like this when you meditate. Okay? Because it's such a not good use of your time. Okay? And what about those people? Huh? They keep on going like this when they recite whatever, sutras or mantras and stuff like that. Same principle. If you move, your samadhi is very shallow. That's why we teach you to be still. And we insist on your learning to still your body. Okay? Don't move the body when you meditate. Okay, you Sanghas, I know you have a heavy schedule, and I know you're exhausted. I know you don't get enough rest. I know you don't eat enough. Okay? But when you meditate, I notice most of you, especially the Koreans, they go like this immediately. Is that considered stillness? No. It's considered sleeping. Sleeping is not stillness. Okay? Why do I bring it up? Bring it up because I want to tell you one of the things I regret in my life is not to come too late to see Master YongHua. So I could never, at the time he was no longer actively teaching and training people. And so I wish I had come earlier and be able to sit with him, because I always wonder what it's like to sit with him. I know it would be fantastic, but I never could experience it. Okay, that's one of the biggest regrets in my life, where this great teacher, this great meditation practitioner, who can enter very deep samadhis. So to be able to sit with him would require incredible blessings, which I don't have clearly. Okay, I regret it. And if I had a chance to sit with him, you think I'd go like this? Or go like this? Or shake? Or like this? It's not our tradition. I would sit very still. I would be stiff as a board. I would not dare move, because every single second is priceless. You monks and nuns, in the back of your mind, you think you work hard and you earn your keep, and I'm impressed by your hard work. But it's no time to relax when you sit together with people and with us together, especially with me. Take advantage of it. Don't sleep. Fight your tiredness. Fight your boredom. Fight your laziness. Meditate. It's only for an hour. It's not that bad. You have the rest of the day to work harder. Yes, you too.
First and recite the morning ceremony after. Should I recite first, then meditate after?
Repeat.
Master, in the morning, I usually meditate first and recite the morning ceremony after. Should I recite first, then meditate after?
Either way is fine. It's not a problem. Whether you meditate first, you recite later, or recite first and meditate later, they both considered, from our perspective, from my perspective, Chan meditation. One is unmoving, stillness meditation. The other is moving meditation. It's just fine, okay? It's up to you. For example, if some of you are like afternoon people, then you have struggle in the morning, and then I would do morning ceremonies first and then meditate later. Then I'm less likely to fall asleep. If you do a good morning recitation session, it's designed to perk you up. Master YongHua's Dharma is very special in that the morning ceremony, if you do it properly, concentrate on doing it, it will wake you up. It will energize you for the entire day. Okay? That will wake you up. So it can be flexible. Any other questions? Okay. And also, I would also like to remind you that Master Xinhua is one of the greatest teachers I've known, the greatest, personally, greatest person, the most remarkable person that I've ever met in person. So it's a real privilege to be able to do that. And he brought the Chinese Mahayana over to our country, to our times. And so he taught in Chinese, and so he brought the Chinese perspective of Mahayana to our times, to the United States, which actually not really white, nor yellow, or black, or anything. We are really jambalaya. Okay. I've been in New Orleans. Anyone had jambalaya? Oh, you guys are so boring. You don't ever travel at all, huh? Jambalaya. You go to New Orleans, you have all these things. They learn from the, or originated, I think, I never had it, but from the French. So they put the meat and all sorts of things in there, and they go umbalang xixang in Vietnamese, okay? So it's, in English, it's called jambalaya, or whatever, okay? And so that's the American culture. It's a mixture of everything. We are not white, we're not completely white, we're not completely yellow, we're not completely Asian, we're not completely black, and everything. And that's the melting pot concept, or the all-embracing nature of our culture. Okay, so Master Xinhua brought the Mahayana perspective from the Asian angle. Okay, and it's difficult for that to reach the rest of us. So now is our turn is to sort of like a hybrid, like a bridge, where we need to understand the Asian culture, Asian perspective, and translate that into the modern times, into the Western perspective. Okay, and therefore, you will, the job is suited for the hybrids, meaning the people who are not completely yellow, not completely pale face, it's not completely black, not completely man, it's not completely woman. Okay. It's not completely LGBTQ, okay? It's a mixture of everything, yeah, okay? And so that's our jobs. In particular, it's very important that we need to have this appreciation of the Asian culture, because it's depth. Really, personally, I feel when I was younger, I was more enamored with the European culture. Okay, the glamour and the glitz and the glory and these fantastic tales of chevalier, the knights in shining armor and so forth. It was fascinating, so captivating. But as I got older and learned more about the Asian cultures and tasted more bitter feelings in my life, and I had to turn back to Asian cultures to make sense those failures, to understand those failures. And that's why I learned to appreciate the Asian culture, its depth is more deep. So that's why it's important to keep an open mind and not underestimate the depth of Asian culture. And we need to translate it to the modern times, to the mixture, to the jambalaya that we have here. Okay, so Master Xinhua, in honestly speaking, I feel he fell short in doing that. He's true to himself. He explained the Dharma truly from a Chinese perspective. Didn't really understand or could express it in the Western cultures. Now it's up to us to, to make the connection and interpret things that's more suitable for the younger generation. If we don't do that, this current generation of Buddhist disciples will die, and the young ones will not come and replace us. Okay, and so you need to keep that in mind in our practices. Okay, it's for our children, it's for our grandchildren, for the future generation, for the world. All right, any questions or comments? If not, then let's continue to investigate the seventh patriarch teaching, the Song Enlightenment. He's considered to be one of the three patriarchs, seventh patriarch. Highly revered, highly admired. Let's go through it, and you tell me in the end whether you're impressed or not. Way Mountain.
I need your advice. So this week I worked on paper 74 hours and traveling from Universal Studio to El Monte. So how do I create a very, I guess, a practice for myself when my hours are very grueling, sometimes average 65, but other times it's 70, other times it's maybe 40. So it's all over the place. How do I maintain in my growth?
Okay, very good. With that kind of schedule you have, it takes a toll on your body. I used to work like that myself as a professional. I used to work 70, 80 hours a week for years. That's the norm. My boss worked even longer hours. And it takes a toll. After a couple of years, my body was shot because all I could think of is work, 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 work. It's no life. Okay, didn't know what else to do. So much work to do, so much at stake, so many people depend on you. And so I understand where you're coming from. And I assure you that unless you do something, you're going to ruin your health. It's not worth it to me. Yeah, I look at my boss, he still works like that. I know that he's so sick. I look at his body now, he's such a sick body that he could have a stroke or will die, very sick, become very sick and die, and will fall to lower realms. We all get what we deserve. That's life, okay? Now you know about it, and you should be smarter. You should understand that because of the job requirements, you have to put in the hours, make the efforts. However, there's a smarter way to do it. And you do it with more balance. And what I would do is I would prioritize Chan meditation. Okay, you only work 70 hours a week. I'm told by a young lady recently that for almost a month she worked like 100 hours a week. So I asked her, how do you survive? I mean, that's inhuman. How can anyone possibly work 100 hours? 100 hours a week, yeah. How is it possible? And she says, well, I had to do Chan. It's the only way. Okay? So take it from people who've been through it. It could be you, could be any of us. Because the stress it takes a toll on your body, and that's when your Chan skills become invaluable. Okay. Normally in your daily life, it's no big deal to you. It's what's a big deal, Chan? You know, it's such a boring thing, such a unglamorous thing to do day in, day out. But actually, the skills you're developing, this Chan meditation, can save your life and improve your health, both physical and mental. Okay, so that's why it's so important. I was also very proud to tell you recently, one of my disciples, who's in this current wave here of newcomers, and she decided after she reached her developed good Chan skills, she realized one thing. She also has a tremendous stress in her daily life and at work, at home, and so forth. And she finally came to a conclusion for herself. She says, Chan is no longer a hobby for me. Chan is here to stay forever until the day I die. Okay, so Chan for her is necessity. Chan for her is a way of life. And that's what is that called? Wisdom. She's able to have stillness. She's able to have contemplation. That's how she developed wisdom. Okay, and therefore, you should be glad to hear or to have such a glimpse or to hear about these stories of such people, because this is what happens to all of us. We work and we practice together. We share our stories, our experiences, and can learn from each other, can benefit from each other's experiences. Okay, so going back to you personally, I would do what I've always maintained to all of you, that is to practice Chan an hour a day. Even if initially you don't have enough sleep, you still go off when the alarm goes off in the morning, get up and practice Chan for an hour. Okay? And at first you'll be sleepy, but it won't be long. Within a few weeks, within a few months max, you will feel invigorated after the Chan. You have a lot more energy during the day, and your mind will be faster. You work more efficiently. Your stamina will be tremendously increased, so that I would dare to venture that 70 hours is no longer necessary for you to function, to get your work done. Maybe physically you may have to be there 70 hours, but in terms of accomplishing the work, you don't need to that 70 hours anymore, because your mind will be a lot faster. Okay? And your stamina will be so much more increased. So do Chan practically, and you find out. That's the solution, okay? You make sure that you do an hour a day. So some days, for example, you get up and you're too tired, you couldn't get up, then catch up later in the evening, okay? Make sure that you do an hour a day, and even at the sacrifice of sleep. I assure you, will be well worth it. Start first with the discipline, okay, of training, getting Chan training, and on the weekend, or if possible, we have a lot of online classes of different levels. Your level, you can attend Master Xian Che's class, or some classes that originated from Korea, from Xianan, or classes in, I think, Tuesday morning that Master Xian teaches, or my classes and so forth. Make the effort to come or attend those sessions Why? Because it's going to help your practice. It's going to help you improve a lot faster than otherwise. Okay? So it's a good thing that you're asking, and a good thing you have exposure to Chan. Chan will help you cope with your stress, with your long hours, fairly easily, eventually. To the point where I'm proud to tell you that we quietly, all our practitioners are quietly producing more, doing more, a few hours without being recognized for it. Okay? Contributing more quietly. We don't make a fuss. We don't stand up and do grandstanding and say, hey, see how good I am, how great I am. Okay? We quietly produce. We quietly help. We quietly make a difference. That's what Chan, the Chan spirit is. Okay? We help. We contribute quietly. We continue to improve, to do even better and better, relentlessly. Okay? All right. Does it help?
Actually, that is the only reason why I think I survived, because I was doing Chan meditation. And I was full of energy. But I found that I was, instead of my 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night, I narrowed it down to 15 and 30 at night. So it was less than an hour.
Very good. So you're managing it. Very good. It's best that you do 1 hour in the morning. Okay, to charge up for the entire day. That's important because it helps you develop the skills, okay, the Chan skills. And then during the day, since you have the skills, you can do, what did they call it, the EV, quick chargers, like 5-10 minutes, and you get 80%. Supercharging. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. Once you have the skills, the idea is that we're going to run out. Our batteries will run out. It's a matter of supercharging and charging up very fast, so that we can continue, pick things up very quickly. Okay, because we need to. For example, you work in a hospital. You need work in a place where you need your attention is needed. You need those quick charges very fast. Okay, and for us, for example, at our skill level, our quick charge doesn't take minutes; it takes seconds. Okay, that's how fast we are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's helpful.
Okay, feel free to ask questions at any time, because trust me, your experience is not anything unusual. It's shared by most of us. Okay, it doesn't matter at what level you are, low level to high level. We need to have quick charge abilities, because we're going to run out of juice. We're going to run out of battery, and we need to quick charge. Okay, so Chan skills. The more skilled you are, the quicker you can charge up. Okay, it's a very interesting concept. Really, if the EVs can charge 80% in 10-15 minutes, we can do similarly 50% to 80% within seconds. Okay, if you're good enough. That's why, really, for the Chan people, we have endless energy. Okay. We are now, we'll pick up the song alignment written by great Master YongHua. We're on slide 19. We've been on this slide for the last month and a half or so, it seems like. No? We can now get beyond this. Okay, so this is the very beginning of the song enlightenment. It doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter where we are. We talk about this and why we talk about it. Talk about this because it's a very famous work of Chan meditation. Most Chinese Chan students, Chan practitioners have read through this, so it's good to be exposed to it. And number two, it has gives you the proper seeds of wisdom, okay? And number three, it's much more important for me personally, for you to hear of it, to be exposed to it. It doesn't matter how much, how long, which portion. The main thing is be exposed to it. As you hear it, it goes into one ear and should go out immediately on the other ear. That's all I care about. Okay? Don't try to memorize. I'm unlike Master Sheno who says, I want you to write down everything, and tonight you go back and you review today's work, and then last night's work, and the night before's work. Baloney. Okay, okay, all due respect. Okay? It's too Chinese, it's too Asian. For us Westerners, we are supposed to drop things quicker than the Chinese. Okay? The Chinese say, write it down, say, oh, this is so fascinating, this is so interesting, I learned something today, oh, hooray, hooray. What is that called? That's called attachment to the Dharma. Okay? And that's the wrong seeds. I feel that's where, hi, thank you. Look at that, she remembers. Thank you. Okay, so the point here is that you can take notes you like or whatever. What I'm trying to teach you is relax and listen and be casual about it, because it's no big deal. Okay, and what you're learning is, if it goes through your ear, it will be there forever. Okay? You don't need to prove to yourself, prove to your wife and to your husband that you understand it, and your neighbor that you understand, you know about the song enlightenment. It doesn't matter. Okay? It's there already, whether you remember it or not. So Master Shenhua, the way he taught, this is, I think it's more designed for students who need to get grades and get approval from their professors and the teachers, therefore they should review them and so forth. I understand that. But for us, we adults, we don't need any grades, so I'm not going to give you grades. You all fail anyway. So you all get Fs. Yeah? That's the bottom line, okay? But you get A, you get F at the end of the day, but then you get A for not quitting. Yes, your F is every time you fail. So it's an F. But because you don't quit, it's an A. So it's called AF. Okay? So if you like to take notes, that's fine. A lot of my students are like, they memorize everything, and they say, Master, you said that 10 years ago. I said, really? I didn't mean it. Okay? Because I reserve the right to change my mind. Why do I change my mind? Because it's just like when you're children, I say, okay, honey, have some candies, have some ice cream. Okay, this is good for you. And you say, yeah, thank you, I love you. Okay, when you become an adult, okay, then I don't want you to be stuck on candies, on ice cream. I want you to try caviar and so forth. So then I would tell you, candy is no good for you because it's bad for your teeth. Okay? And so forth. So that's why the Mahayana Chan teaching is very flexible. It changes constantly. It doesn't matter you remember or don't remember, as far as I'm concerned. It's still all in here. And one day, when you need to remember, when you need to use it, you pull it out naturally. Okay? And that, to me, it's much more natural, much more relaxing than trying so hard to to memorize, to understand. By the way, Chan training is not about knowledge. Chan training is about execution, knowing what to do to fix your problems. Knowledge is not going to help you fix the problems. What problems you have? Let's say you feel depressed. You don't feel like meditating. What are you going to do? So Chan training is about getting help, getting some instructions to resolve your issues right now. Okay, you're angry like hell. You can't function because when at this state of mind, you will yell at your son. Which will then make him depressed. So the problem compounds. Okay, so Chan training then should enable you to realize you're angry, and you should learn immediately to fix the anger, address the anger issue before it spirals out of control. That's what Chan is about. It's not about knowledge. Knowledge to me is overrated. Knowledge is for you to get a medal, to get a diploma, to get a raise. Chan is for you to be happier, healthier, more normal, more real, more human. More lovable. Okay? Okay, so we are at the beginning of the Song of Enlightenment. He's referring to if you practice Chan meditation, you reach its level here, or the people who ended their studies. Okay, and this refers to people who have wisdom. They have wisdom. They ended the need to study how to get rid of their egos, because getting rid of the ego requires study, requires proper knowledge. Okay, transcendental knowledge, not worldly knowledge. Okay. And once you ended your study and got rid of your ego, then the self, then you can abide in the unconditioned, meaning that, in particular, you stop creating offenses. You stop hurting yourself. You stop hurting others. I know for most of us, we really don't want to hurt others, but we can't help ourselves because of our ignorance, our stupidity. We do things, we create karmas, and that's harmful to others. In particular, what really, really atrocious to me is what us parents call love is actually hurtful love. We don't realize it. And you know what? If you do that, you give hurtful love to your children. It doesn't stop at them. It continues on to their children. I've been talking to a few people recently, and they told me this is a similar story. Is that I learned that this behavior from my parents because that's how they treated me. They are so worried about me, they yell at me every time I made a mistake. And that they are so overprotective. They didn't want me to suffer. Sound familiar? And so I'm the same way. I treat my children the same way. I'm overprotective, and I give them tough love, and I worry about them constantly. And I told recently I told someone, one of my disciples, that can you stop processing just for a little bit? Can you stop rationalizing everything just for a moment? And that's what your daughter needs. Your daughter needs you to give her love, to give her feelings. Okay? Instead of you worrying about her getting hurt and wanting the best for her. Just be normal. Be yourself. Show your feelings, show your love, show your vulnerability, show your inadequacies. Be real, like a person. Be who you are. Don't pretend to be someone you're not. Because you don't, your daughter will end up just like you. Logical and process everything. Fearful of making mistakes. And that's what is meant by the unconditioned. You stop creating offenses. You stop making mistakes. You stop wasting time, wasting energy. All right? And not only do you stop creating offenses, but you'll be able to experience leisure. You can live life leisurely. Even when you have to put in 70 hours a week, you still do it leisurely, believe it or not. You walk leisurely. Hey, dude, what's happening, man? Okay, 70 hours a week, huh? It's leisurely. Okay? Yeah, you may be walking very fast, but inside, your mind is at a leisurely pace. How's that? And that's a state of wisdom. And that's how, I would love to have such a person as my parent, because my parent never taught me. My parent only taught me to get good grades, expect me to get good grades, perform, be successful, make them proud of me. Sounds familiar? I ended up living very miserable, hating myself. All right, questions? Next. So this being at 20, and return to my original Dharma nature body. Chinese. Are you awake?
还我本来法性身，关键微音古慈亲。
Not yet. Okay. It's the first time I forgive you. Don't do it again. Okay. So, see, the Chinese accent is Beijing 口音. I love the Beijing 口音. It's so beautiful. Anyway, I'm very biased. Many attachments. So, at the state of wisdom, from the sages, it's called to return back to my original Dharma nature body. This refers to not just a fourth stage Arhat, but this is a song enlightenment written by great Master YongHua, who I believe is a seventh ground bodhisattva, and therefore he's referring to himself. He says, I returned to my original Dharma nature body, meaning that I became enlightened. I went beyond fourth stage Arhat. I went beyond this state here. Okay? This state where the study is ended, who can abide in unconditioned and a way of leisure. He says, I even went further. Okay? I want you to be aware of it. Don't just be happy right here. This is very important for him. This is the emphasis that I feel that the Chinese don't put enough in their teachings of this particular Dharma. Master YongHua here said He emphasized the fact that you ought to get to this state here. Okay? You put an end to the ego and learn to stop creating offenses and live your life in leisure. Incredible state of mind of leisure. Okay? But don't stop there. Master YongHua says, I went further. That's why he said, this "and" here is a good translation. "And" is excellent. "And" here is not present in the Chinese, okay? But it's added in English because of these semantics, the grammar and so forth, okay? But it's actually what he meant, implied in the Chinese, okay? The Chinese, do Chinese have an "and"? You skip "ands." Chinese are lazy, no? That's implied, right? That's the problem with Chinese language. Too many implications. I mean, not implications. Okay? You assume too many things, and that's why it's very rather abstract of a teaching, the Chinese Chan teaching. So, and he returned to his original Dharma nature body, meaning that just for all practical purposes, he became enlightened. You become enlightened, that's when you return to your original Dharma nature body. Meaning that you, all of you, when you become enlightened, you will return to your original Dharma nature body. Your body right now is temporary. Okay? It's just a means for you to be able to utilize it, take advantage of it, to return back to your original Dharma nature body. That's your true self. Okay? That's who you really are. Your true wealth. Not your stock options alone. Okay? That includes all your stock options, all your Teslas. I'm amazed that now I spend more time up north in Northern California. How many Teslas there are? I see Teslas everywhere. Even Apple drives a Tesla. It's crazy. I hang around Rosemead down there in Southern California. No Teslas. We drive 20-year-old cars, okay? Well, up here, Teslas everywhere. Yuck. Anyway, I might have to end up buying an EV2 myself soon. Just to be accepted socially. Okay, so the original Dharma body, meaning that our original home, our true self, our ultimate true identity, that's who we really are, what we are today, what we have today, is but a means to an end. We hear this body in order to pay back to our children in general. You know what I mean? When you look at children, say, oh, past creditors who are here to collect from us. Yes? Okay, so so the body here we have is a body that came about because of our prior, remember? Prior what? Karmas we created. Abide in condition, remember? We don't produce karmas anymore. However, this body we have here arose from the previous karmas. Okay? And so we use this current body, a reason from the previous karmas, past karmas, in order to go back to our original Dharma nature body. So a complete full circle. If you don't go back to your original Dharma nature body, then you will have to revolve again in the wheel and continue to suffer until you're able to go back to your original home. Like it or not. It's just the way it is. Okay, few more minutes. Okay. What happened? Oh, you know what? I think the slide, the slide is off. It should have the 金见微音古词亲, right? Yeah, we're sorry. There's a slide missing. Okay? Because of that, we might as well stop early because it takes too long to fix this and go to lunch early. How's that? You like that? Yeah, see, everyone is laughing. You sound so happy. Yeah? Enough pain in the legs. Yes, for this morning. Okay, we stop here today. Thank you all for coming, and that I invite you to go to lunch with us. Thank you. We fix the slides. Okay.